Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of NKA only on AfiaTV, on DSTV channel 254, Go TV channel 17, and Free TV channel 748. My name is Chinalurumogu as your guest tonight, and you know how it is on NKA. We profile people who are doing this thing called life. Have amassed a couple of milestones, even if they are still figuring it all out, but they can share a bit of aspire to acquire with us on their journey, and we can learn a thing or two, right? So tonight, just like every other night, we have conversations with these individuals. I'm excited about tonight. I hope you are too. We'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, I'll introduce to you our guest tonight. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to NKA. My name is Chinalurumogu Eze. And like I said, NKA is about profiling people who are doing this thing called life. And we can learn from them, even if they are still figuring it out. But my guest tonight is not exactly someone who is still figuring it out, because if he were, he wouldn't be the executive director of Kaduna International Film Festival. If he was still figuring it out, he wouldn't be the vice chairman of Nigerian Film Festivals Association. I'm talking about no other person than Israel Kashim Audu. Good evening, Mr. Ibrahim. Good evening. Mr. Israel, I mean.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you? How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you.
Oh, great. I'm okay. And it's your first time on NKA. I would always tell my guests, you were joining us all the way from Philippines. Woo! Congratulations. And typically, if you were here with us in person, would have offered you something, maybe a bit of champagne to calm your nerves, but you're not here. So we're going to make do of, I don't even know what we're going to make do of, but sure. Welcome, 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 welcome once again. So it's really beautiful. It's amazing to have you here tonight. And I like that you are the executive director of Kaduna International Film Festival. It's not every day that we converse with people who are doing big and amazing things in northern Nigeria, especially when it comes to film. When it comes to film in northern Nigeria, right? It's not every day that we do all of that, okay? So welcome again to the show. It's a delight to have you here. So let's talk, right? How did you start Kaduna International Film Festival? Was there a gap you were looking to fill in northern Nigeria? Was there something you wanted to start off, a conversation you wanted to spark? So how did it all start? Give us the tea.
Okay, the journey has been very inspiring one, at the same time challenging. The festival started, at first I was called upon when Kaduna was planning to celebrate Kaduna at 100. That was in 2017, a year before I started the Kaduna Film Festival, which was in 2018. So I was called upon to coordinate the Kaduna at 100 event, which was supposed to be part of the, it was called the KD Century Film Festival. So at that time, we had to put in all our best to ensure that it was held successfully, because at that time Kaduna was 100, because from the days of the northern capital, because Kaduna was known as the northern capital of Nigeria for so many years. And so it was interesting for us to celebrate KD Century Film Festival as part of the activities. But sadly, after all the plannings, the activity was scrapped at that time, so we couldn't hold the film festival at that particular point in time. But other events was held to mark Kaduna at 100. After that, it inspired me to see that we started a film festival because when we started in 2018, there was no film festival in the northern part of Nigeria, and people have no platform. Some creators have no platform to showcase their talent. So these are the reasons why we decided let's start a film festival in 2018 to address some of these challenges, to showcase the culture of the North, to bridge the gap, discuss issues that has to do with Northern Nigeria, using art and creativity to address some of these issues, to create a platform also for filmmakers in the North, and to also interact with the counterpart from the English film industry in Nollywood, and also the international scene, because currently the festival is an international festival with participation from Africa and other countries. So yes, in a nutshell, that's how the festival started.
Oh, okay. I know that you didn't just wake up and said, I want to start doing film festivals. So I'd like to know your journey into film. I want to know what your journey into film was like. How did it all start with you being in film? Was it a bolt of lightning that just said to you, my son, go into film? So how did it all start, your journey into film?
Okay, mine was an interesting one because growing up, I wanted to be an actor. To go into the creative, and to always be on the screen. I had always loved the creative industry, to also showcase what I have, my talent and so on. But at the point in time, I felt maybe the acting is not my calling. Maybe I should be more of a critical stakeholder, contributing to the creative industry in other ways, while I engage in other activities or other things that God has called me to do. And so that was how I came into the creative industry. And almost all the veterans in the industry, the creatives, the actors, are all my friends, but I'm not an actor. But I have a lot of ideas about acting because I've always had a passion for it. So yes, it's the passion that has brought me this far.
Right. So you have the passion. So has there ever been an opportunity for you to act? Because you said it all started with you wanted to be an actor, but right now you are handling film festivals. So I don't know, have you had the opportunity to act? Did the opportunity ever come?
Yes, because I'm a film festival organizer, so I have a lot of film makers because each year we receive entries. Filmmakers try to reach out and so on. So yes, I've received some offers, but I feel for now I have not given out that time yet to act in any movie. But hopefully, maybe soon or one day. I might be on the screen, but for now, not yet.
One day. That brings me to the next thing I want to ask. So since you do not feel you are ready to act and be on our screens just yet, but maybe, what about making your own film? Are you looking towards being a filmmaker, or you just want to keep it at festival level, organizing festivals for now?
Yes, so even if I'm going to be a filmmaker, my films will be impactful films that highlight different issues that have to do with our society, to address some of the challenges that have to do with our society. So yes, I look forward to have my own movie, films, to produce my own films. So yes, that is in line with what I have later.
This is very interesting because for Southeasterners like us, like me, for Southeasterners here, so we and a bunch of other people have a name that we give a select kind of films, right? We call some kind of films Asabawood. I don't know if you've heard of it, Asabawood. I don't know if you've heard of Asabawood before, but it's usually a name given to films largely shot in Asaba and with poor production quality, And typically these films often go on YouTube sometimes, or even on Africa Magic Epic and all that. They do have their target audience. It doesn't have nothing serious about it. They have their target audience. They have their people who they really relate to, and people love these things. And they have special actors that feature in films like that. So that's something that's something attainable in the Southeast. For Northern Nigeria, we've heard of Kannywood. We've heard of Kannywood, and we would agree it's related to films made in the North, or to describe the industry, the acting, the film industry in Northern Nigeria. And Asabawood would argue that they are not included in, what is it called? In things like the AMVCA, they're not included in the bulk of some of the things happening largely in Nollywood. And I do not know if it's the same for Kannywood. Do you think I would like you to speak for Kannywood at this point in time? Do you feel that Nollywood is sidelining them, or they just relate and have their own target audience that they connect with, just like Asabawood, or Nollywood is missing out on Kannywood? I don't know. What do you have to say about that?
Okay, in Kannywood, we have Kannywood have its own challenges, just as every sector of the industry. So Kannywood, in AFVCA, for instance, if you don't submit your film, there will not be category for such. In the recent they just included AMVCA. We had 2 films that was nominated from the Northern film industry in the indigenous category, indigenous film category, West Africa, and so we have been participating in the mainstream creative industry. We have been doing our bit. But we only have few in the Northern film industry, Kannywood, known as Kannywood, that are vast and experienced and are doing films that are good for festivals, that are good for competitions, that are good to be shown in the cinemas. Only few. So most of the filmmakers in Kannywood do films for possibly YouTube.
Okay.
So they don't do films for competitions or maybe to send to film festivals. Only few, like I said. So that has been a challenge. And technicalities, no much of funding that is required for them. So those films that will be competing enough to be in the mainstream creative industry. So because of the challenges in Kannywood, we will say that is the reason why we're not seeing much of them on the mainstream platform, the creative industry. But the industry is out there for everyone. There's no limitation for anybody. The world is open for everybody to showcase their talent. And so I don't feel like Kannywood is sidelined or maybe not being included in the industry. The only thing is we need more of collaboration, which I've always said.
Yeah.
In the industry, every sector of the industry.
Okay. That makes sense. And that takes me back to Kadiff, Kaduna International Film Festival. What role do you think Kadiff can play in making this collaboration, this visibility and all that possible for Kannywood? Because honestly, we do not see a lot of stories from there. That's what I'm saying. We don't see a lot of stories. We don't know, basically. I'm sure they do a lot. The films are out there, but we don't see it a lot. And YouTube has made life very easy for people. YouTube has made life very easy. You see a lot of films amassing millions of views on YouTube, no matter how rubbish the movie is. But we're not exactly seeing that from Kannywood. So what role do you think Kadiff can play to change and correct that?
So the only thing is for us to do is to continue to engage with them, because for the Kannywood or the film industry in the north here, in fact, sometimes when we call for film submissions are open, not just with Kadiff, film festivals around the world in Nigeria. Yeah. Let's even start with Nigeria. You will notice that we only have, you'll see only few submissions from Kannywood, maybe 2 or 3 that will come from Kannywood. And sometimes the highest number of entry maybe you can see is 5. Just like this year, I think we had 4 or 5 entries that came from Kannywood, you know. And like I told you earlier, the reason is just because they don't do films that are what they know for film festivals or maybe for competitions.
Okay. So
they do films for YouTube promotions. So so even if you go to film festivals, you might see just few or none films from Kannywood. So the only thing is for us to keep engaging and to see how we can help and how we can collaborate, to see how we can support the filmmakers in Kannywood in that sense. And that was the reason why 2 years ago we started the Northern Film Summit. So that because Kadiff is an annual event, so we have to look at how we can also engage with them time to time to see how we can hear their issues, what can be done, how can we help the industry, the filmmakers in the north, the actors, you know, as time goes on. So we have had their issues and we're engaging, also interfacing with the government at the federal and state level to see how we can also collaborate, to see how we can support, and also financial institutions, how they can come in to support the creative sector for the back of industry and so on. So a lot of work needs to be done, and we are doing with the support, with the help of Kadiff that has been there for the past 7 years. Is a platform. Kadiff is a platform to address or to discuss some of these issues. So Kadiff is there to highlight and address these issues, and hopefully, I'm sure that soon we will get there. And even the film that was selected in Nigeria to be in the Oscars was a film from the north.
Exactly. I was coming to say that. My Mataba.
Yes. So you see, we have filmmakers. It's just that they are not as much as maybe the English filmmakers or those who are doing the English movies. Only few, and those few are doing well, I must say.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And you mentioned something in passing. You said, so Kadiff is coming back again this year for the 8th edition.
Yes, correct.
All right. So tell us about last year's edition. What was it like? How did it go?
Yes, it went well, and thanks to the support of AfiaTV, they were our partners last year. They supported. I was live on AfiaTV on the breakfast show, I think weeks to the festival, and I spoke about what the festival, what we're anticipating at that edition last year, and it was a successful one. We look forward to a better edition this year. With this year, I think we have very amazing entries. Just yesterday, we released the official selections and nominees for the festival, and we had over 50 countries that have participated, and we shortlisted, I think, 12 countries that are participating. With this year, we'll be screening over 126 films.
Are you serious? 126.
Yeah, so you can see that the festival has it's growing, and last year we saw some successes from previous editions, from the participation, people that came, we had visitors from Uganda. I think for the past 3 editions, Uganda have had the highest number of entries for Kadiff. So it means that Kadiff is well known in Uganda to the Ugandan audience, the Ugandan filmmakers, and recently we also signed an MOU with the Ugandan Film Festival the Pearl International Film Festival in Uganda. So, yes, Kadiff is growing and is doing as much as it can to bridge the gap. And that was the reason why last year I was elected as a vice chairman of the Nigerian Film Festivals Association because of the work we have been doing and bringing film festivals in Nigeria. We have over 30 film festivals in Nigeria and from different states doing film festivals and so on. So it's how we can bring ourselves together and also look at how we can support and also collaborate with other film festivals around the world. Some filmmakers, they just concluded Cannes Film Festival in France from Nigeria. The minister was there. So it's a great thing for us. And one key thing for us and for me is to look at how we can collaborate and how we can sustain partnerships, sign deals, and promote the African market is very, very key for us, I must say. So thank you. Thank you. I think, yes, the festival is there, and each year we keep seeing some improvement. We keep seeing participation from around the world.
Right. That's beautiful. That's really, really beautiful. You mentioned that it seems that the festival is very popular in Uganda. So I wouldn't know the bulk of Nigerians that key into Kadiff, but I want to talk about because truth be told, I knew of Kadiff last year, and I had a couple of questions coming through my mind, especially because it's in Kaduna. Kaduna is that state in Nigeria where so a lot of questions about insecurity plagued my mind and a bunch of other people. Insecurity, what would go wrong, what if I'm going for the festival and I get kidnapped, I get killed. This is legit. You know, I have my right to feel like this because of the current insecurity situation in the country. So I don't know, how do you encourage people to attend, considering the whole insecurity situation in the country? Do you see that as a problem for Kadiff? I don't know, what can you say about that?
I think currently now, if we go by that in Nigeria, almost everywhere is not safe because if you go to the southeast,
it has its own thing.
In the southeast, yes, northwest, the southwest. So every zone in the country has its own security challenge. But in the north, with the banditry and so on, I'm also let me speak for Kaduna in particular.
Okay.
Currently in Kaduna, the security challenge, I think, is a bit down. We've not heard of any kidnapping recently, and we've not heard of any attack from any place in Kaduna. And thanks to the government, I don't know what they did, but since the current governor came on board, he has been doing his best to ensure that security is a thing of the past. So I hope that is sustained compared to the previous government that were in power. So, but even when the government that were in power was, we're still holding the film festival. And so the festival is out there and also to change the narrative and to tell people that Kaduna is safe, the North is safe. And we have been working closely with security agencies. Sometimes even when we don't reach out to the DSS, they are always at alert, they reach out to us, and they attend the festivals. Okay. You know, DSS don't put on uniforms. So they come and you won't even know who they are. So they have been attending the Kaduna Festival and ensuring the safety of citizens because they know that the festival is an international film festival. And the police have been supportive. All security agencies have been supportive. And this year also, all of them have been notified of this year's film festival. All security agencies from the army, all the armed forces have been notified of the festival. So we look forward to a successful event, and it's going to let people know that Kaduna is safe for people to come. And there is a film that was on Netflix a few years back, Queen Amina, and it was shot in Kaduna. And the filmmaker came to Kaduna to tell our stories. He went to Zaria, he told the story, even at the peak of the security challenge, And that was when the festival was even, we started a tourism activity, because each year we have a tourism program where we take people to different places around Kaduna with the support of the security agencies to tell people Kaduna itself, come and tell stories about the North and so on. And the story of Kunamina was a great one. It did well on Netflix.
Yeah.
So that's to tell you that Kaduna is safe, and the filmmakers that come to tell stories. In fact, even there was a film that was produced by Linda Ikeji. She came to Kaduna, directed by Toka Magbaro, to do a film on different issues also, because she also do some very good and impactful films, even though she started as a blogger, but now she's into the film industry and as a producer. So it's great to see that the festival has opened doors for filmmakers. Despite all the challenges, we have been doing our best, and the festival has been a platform for so many people.
Oh, right. That's beautiful, and that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much for reiterating on Kaduna being a very beautiful state, and how it's eager to host the 8th edition of Kaduna International Film Festival. That's massive. We're going to go on a quick break. And when we come back, we'll continue the conversation with Israel Kashim Audu. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to NKA. My name is Chinalurumogu, and I'm still here with the Executive Director of Kaduna International Film Festival and the Vice Chairman of Nigerian Festivals Association, Israel Kashim Audu. Thank you once again for emphasizing on the safety of Kaduna, Mr. Israel. Thank you so much for that. Now, enough of festival talks and enough of all of that about film and festival. Let's talk about you, right? Let's talk about you and every other thing you do outside film. So tell us about all that you do that is not film related, or everything you do is film related. I beg to differ. So tell us.
Okay, so I'm well known as someone who is into film festival organizing. In fact, even if you Google my name on the web, you will see that it's all about Kadiff, Kaduna Film Festival. But all of you know that I'm also a psychologist, and I'm also a religious. One of the reasons why I'm also currently in the Philippines here, doing the work of God and doing our best to ensure that we go to pray for Nigeria, which is key and important because of a lot of things that have been going on lately in Nigeria. And so Israel, in a nutshell, it's somebody who is very passionate about the environment and society, and seeing how he can make an impact with what he do aside film festivals. So other things are always in the low key, as a religious, as a psychologist, doing my bit. And so that is why, so sometimes with the film festivals, you see me in Nigeria, and sometimes not always in Nigeria and in and out of the country. Because I've also worked closely with diplomats in Nigeria, when we, even when I'm not doing festivals, engage in and seeing how we can support the film industry and other things that has to do with social issues. And that is why when I told you, even if I'm going to go into film making, what I'll be doing is films that will tell good stories and also address some issues. So that is me. That is what I've been doing, and currently why I'm also here in the Philippines is also I'm here in a community environment, doing my bit and praying and seeing how we can also contribute a little in prayers to the, to make Nigeria better. As we also look forward to other things that we look up to the upcoming film festivals scheduled in August.
Okay.
So that's me.
Okay. So two things. You said you're a psychologist and you are, should I call you a pastor? Because you said you're pretty religious and what brought you to the Philippines is the work of God. So would you mind, okay, let's talk about psychology, first of all. So did you study that in school or, I don't know, could you tell us a bit about that?
Yes. So I studied that in school, and I studied that because it's a course which is very, very important for me because every day I have a conversation with people, and to hear their stories and see how we can support and see how we can help in the little way we can. Because psychology, philosophy are courses that for me it's necessary for me to do because of how we have conversations and meet with people, our everyday people, you know. And of course, as someone who is in a religious space, theology is also going to be part of it. But yes, psychology, it's very, very important for me. That was why I had to study psychology to also see, to be a professional in the course and be ready to address every challenges that come as I meet with interface with people. So,
okay. But you see, the way Nigeria is right now, you'd hear stuff like that studying psychology is kind of like a waste of time because, I mean, the country, you'd wonder the bulk of the citizens may not exactly go for a psychologist as their last resort when they are dealing with mental issues. You understand? Like it's something along those lines. So for you, do you actually practice psychology in its full form, you know?
Okay, I don't practice it for the business sake of it. But do it for just my cycle, maybe in the environment where I am. So I am able to apply that psychology in my environment, but not as in the business aspect or maybe someone who, because psychologists are found everywhere, where there are people, you can walk, airport and so on. But for me, I don't practice it to make a business, not for the business aspect of it. So I do it in wherever I am and wherever I find myself in that particular space. So yes, because I hear people say with studying psychology is a waste of time, you know, because even when you tell your parents study psychology, they'll tell you what for now, you know, because they'll tell you go and you be a banker or be a lawyer, those professional professions that, you know, that will make you outstanding. But, you know, not much has been said about psychology or psychologists, you know, but in Nigeria, that country is a big deal. Those who study psychology,
outside the
just
country.
here in Nigeria. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I understand. So you're doing it not for the money. We need more people like you in Nigeria because we do a lot of things because of the money, but you are practicing psychology not because of the money. We need more people like you in Nigeria. That's a good one. So maybe right now I want to be a bit nosy. So which one pays you the most? Is it theology? Is it film? Is it film festival? Do you want to share?
Now, whatever I'm doing, I don't do it for the money. I do it to, yes, it's the film festival. For the last 4-5 editions, I didn't really get sponsors. So I did it for money and maybe from support from individuals. I only started getting financial funding from maybe 1 or 2 brands, I think last last year and last 2 years. So previous years were maybe individual support and so on. So you can imagine, for someone who doesn't get funding or doesn't get money from organizing film festival, would have given up long before now. But we have been in the festival doing it because for me, what I wanted to is to create a platform for young creative in the North and also see how I can support them and also support the youth in every possible way I can. Each day I receive messages, calls, and how I can help in one way or the other for filmmakers who need partnerships, who need to be on the scene, who need to engage with filmmakers, who need to be in film productions and so on, because they feel and they know that maybe I interact with most of the filmmakers and they submit their films to film festivals, to Kadiff and so on. So that is why I've been there with the festival creating platform. And so nothing or much I get from film festivals, but also doing the work of God, definitely, there is more money in it. So the only thing is the little we get, we thank God, and most important thing is you're able to sustain yourself and provide for your basic needs, which is very key and important, and that's fine. And that's all for me. That is what I feel and I think it is for me. And for most of us in the religious angle, some of us will say we took a life of poverty, not poverty that you say no shoes. Well, yes, you look good, but don't make money your number one goal. So that is it.
I see. This is a moment of reflection for a lot of people because a bunch of us are doing it for the money. Some of us are doing some things for the money, and it makes sense. This is something we need to think about. Sometimes it's not always about the money. Sometimes you're checking about the impact you're leaving, people whose lives are touched because you were doing that thing. Thank you for giving us something to think about, Mr. Israel. Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. All right, so let's take it back to film one more time. This is a question I always ask anyone who's into film that I ever get the opportunity to interview. So who would you say is your favorite Nigerian filmmaker?
I have so many of them. So even if I mention one name now,
give us your top 5.
So many of them. Nigerian filmmaker, for me, I will start with the North because since I'm from the North, I would say Chokamak Barrow from the North.
Okay.
And we have the filmmaker that did the film that was selected for the Oscars, Prince Daniel.
Okay.
Yes, so those two from the North have been outstanding. And then also Alinuhu, who is also the MD
yes, I love Alinuhu.
He's an actor. He has been in the English and Hausa film industry for years, for decades, and he has been well. And for the English film industry, I would say I think Femi Adebayo is somebody who from nowhere he just came to the industry and but he has been there for long, and then people just hearing about him. Some people don't even know he has been there. Femi Adebayo is a very fantastic actor and a filmmaker. And his recent film, 7 Doors, I think he shined at the AMVCA.
Yes, he did. Him and Choma Chukwuka.
Yes. So, and the film was selected and nominated for Kadiff this year. So I look forward to a good outing for 7 Doors in Kadiff. And so I think so I've mentioned 3-4 names now.
Yeah.
So the 5th person to be, I don't know if you know Biodun Stephen.
Who doesn't know Biodun Stephen? I love Biodun Stephen.
Yeah, she's a great filmmaker and she has been doing well. I think she has been going all over the place with her films. I think.
Okay, Mr. Israel, there was something you said, and I before you even said it, I wanted to ask that question. And I didn't know if I should I not, but it's beautiful that you pointed that out. So it makes it easy for me to go on. You said that it was difficult for Rahama to break even with filmmakers in the North because of certain things. Maybe they felt she was not one of them, maybe by way of her dressing, her approach to a couple of things, maybe even the way she spoke, you know, that sort of thing. So I've had this conversation with myself and a couple people, and it seems Kannywood may not be connecting with or collaborating with filmmakers outside the North because they have such stringent rules when it comes to filmmaking. And I think it's largely tied to religion. What do you have to say about that?
Okay, so like I said, in the North here, religion is a factor to some things that hinder some form of collaboration. And if you also look at the films on African Magic Hausa, you see that there are some things that you will never find them do that you can see in the English film industry. You will never see a Hausa couple kiss or hug in Hausa movies. There are things that you can't do. And if you see the English films, most of the films that sell now, and even on social media, if a lady is half naked, she'll get a lot of followers. If a lady dressed somehow, she do a lot of things, she gets a lot of followers on social media. And so you will see that same goes to the industry also, the film movies. So that is why you see most English films tend to be watched more than even the Hausa films, because we have international films that can be translated. So you can watch a Hausa film once there is translated and you will enjoy it, you know. But because sometimes people see the Hausa film as boring, of course it's not, but because they are not seeing what they are looking for in those films, because the films in Kannywood are to promote good morals and to promote their values, religion, you know, and that has also hindered some form of collaboration, you know, and even some brands in the North that, so there are some things that even when you enter Kano, for instance, because Kano is a very strict religious state,
okay,
and it's also the Hisba, police, and so on. So that's also, and if recently also the Kano Census Board even banned some films because of it didn't follow their guidelines, you know. So those kind of things also are some challenges that you see the Kannywood face with also collaborations with the English film industry.
Right.
So it's but hopefully with engagement, collaborations, and also understanding, I believe that it will take us somewhere. I think it will help us.
Okay. I hope the collaboration and understanding gets there somewhere. I'm really looking forward to enjoying films from northern Nigeria. I'm looking forward to all of that. This has been such an insightful conversation, Mr. Israel. You've explained a couple things about Kannywood, about Kadiff International Film Festival, and the fact that everything you're doing, you are not doing it for the money. Aww, that's so nice. I wish we could all be like you. But that's really inspiring. That's really inspiring. And to our wonderful viewers and beautiful people who are watching us tonight, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the conversation with Mr. Israel tonight, and how he's in his own way trying to revive and restructure filmmaking in northern Nigeria with his initiative, Kaduna International Film Festival. I hope you've picked a thing or two. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. I will see you next time, same station, same time. My name is Chinalurumogu. Bye.